125 first moto completed. Now we're looking forward to the 250s. Can Greg Albertine win his second in a row? And can John Dowd win his third race in a row here at this track? Welcome back to Southwick, Massachusetts, as we are prepping right now for the first moto of 250 action. That was Tim Ferry in his second ride with Chaparral. Greg Albertine, number 8. Albie's gone from 8th to 3rd in the points battle after a sweeping victory in the last round. Here's last year's winner, Doug Henry, getting those muscles warmed up as we take a look at the points chase. Tortelli by 11 points over Ezra Lusk. Albertine still in the battle. Kevin Windham on the rise. As we take a look at the top 10, we've got LAROCCO, Rayner, Tim Ferry, Henry, and Button. Let's go down to Dave.
Southwick is a tough place to win a 250 overall. In the last 7 years, there have been 7 different winners here at Southwick, including this guy, John Dowd. He's got local knowledge. He's a former winner here. He could win again today. But can a guy like Sebastian Tortelli make it 8 different winners in 8 years? Well, you say, Dave, he can't get off the pavement. Well, he's been practicing at home, in his driveway. And even though the neighbors may be a little ticked off, Sebastian says he's ready for the pavement start.
40-rider field is getting set at the gate now. We take a look at the starting grid with Ezra Lusk and Greg Albertine. Our points leader, Sebastian Tortelli. The factory connection Honda of Mike LAROCCO. Wyndham on the rise, getting good momentum. Jeff Emig looking for some momentum as we take a look at the rest of the 40-rider field.
You know, it just occurred to me, I practiced as well, same as Tortelli, on concrete during the week, and I felt like I had it dialed in. But the difference is when you line up for the moto, you've got 39 other bikes out there making so much noise, you can't hear the RPMs on your own. It makes it a little bit tougher to do in a race situation.
In our rider field, we're not lacking championship experience here at Southwick. Henry won last year. Dowd won in 97. Emig won the main event here in 95, and LAROCCO won in 94. Who will it be now in 1999 as we get set for our opening moto for the 250s? They are underway. John Dowd with a great start. Ezra Lusk is right there. Doug Henry as well. LAROCCO a good start. Number 4, Lusk with the pressure on. There's Henry, number 1. But our leader, a very popular guy right here in the Northeast, is John Dowd. Oh, Henry goes down in a dangerous spot.
I was about to say, great start for the local guys, Henry and Dowd. They're both up there in the top 3. Henry, it looked like he went a little bit too far out to the outside. Got hung up on that embankment, didn't have any room to drop back down in with all the riders there.
So John Dowd now carrying the Team Yamaha colors out in front all alone as Ezra Lusk is in pursuit. Well, a bumpy speed shot right there.
Now picking lines out here is critical. Just moving over 6 inches can make a huge difference in the speed you can carry into a corner or through one.
Lusk is coming off 2 third-place overall finishes. There's Wyndham, number 14, going through the picture. 20 is Ferry, 10, Jimmy Button.
There goes Tortelli and Larry Ward just going through the corner. I think on a track like this, maybe not in the first couple of laps, but as this race starts to settle down a little bit, this is the kind of place where you can make a lot of passes. So Tortelli has proven that he can do that. It's going to be tough to catch his leaders, but he can still get up in the top 3.
Several of these riders, including Tortelli, raced at a local race here last week, and now Tortelli is down. He tangled with Jimmy Button. So this is a great break for Ezra Lusk points-wise.
Haven't I said that he and Button get together all too often? Here they go again. Button obviously hit this on his left side there. It's a little tougher to get that bike started than it is the 2-stroke Honda.
John Dowd still our leader, but Ezra Lusk is right there knocking on the door.
Well, I think what he's trying to do is not only keep the race close, let Dowd know he's going to be a problem, but study everything that Dowd does. He's won here the last 2 years on 125 and 250s, and he knows something. It's obvious John Dowd has gained more strength in that injured shoulder. We'll be right back with more action. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Dave Burns with you from Southwick, Massachusetts, as our first 250 moto is just underway. A battle going on as Greg Albertine goes after Steve Lampson. Lampson on the Chaparral Yamaha. Greg Albertine of Team Suzuki. Number 24, Lampson. Albertine really gunning it down. Maybe the battle for 5th, but they're not that. Whoa! Albertine
and he flops over, losing 1, 2, maybe 3 positions.
That's one of those little things that makes you realize how difficult what they're doing really is. He was just trying to go in there and cut it tight, and the sand just buried, or the front end rather, just buried in the sand. He almost did a complete donut.
Takes the heat off a little bit for Steve Lampson, though, but looking right behind him now is Kevin Windham putting the pressure, and Lampson goes down. Oh, my goodness, the battles are being decided by crashes right now.
He's stuck, too. I don't think he's going to get loose.
Albertine, Ward, got his leg caught underneath there.
Well, that's frustrating, because if he could have just gotten right up, he'd probably only lost a couple of positions. Now all the energy. Watch what happens here to Lampson. He's going to hit a braking bump. He didn't really mean to hit. See how high the back end kicked? And the front end started dancing around. He didn't even have a chance to save that. All he did was hit the wrong bump with his guard down just a little bit.
Immediately looking back to see who was coming down the pipe, too. Here's the battle for third. LAROCCO chasing. Damon Huffman gets a good launch off that top.
Had a good drive up the hill, jumped the whole bump. Everyone else been hitting, but look at LAROCCO just muscle his way to the inside.
Mike LAROCCO, an easy inside move. At least he made it look easy. Now takes over third position.
Takes a lot of nerve to commit and go down that inside that fast, because it's just full of holes. You're going to hit some of them, and you may hit them wrong. You saw what happened to Lampson, so that's the kind of nerve it takes to try to go fast here. Lap it for 30 minutes. That's the kind of state of mind you're in. A little bit scared, fully committed.
I really love this track. It's so busy. I mean, just after you get through with one section, bam, you got another challenging one right in your face.
Well, just looking at how rough it is getting into this corner. Then you get into the corner, you got to get right back on the power, and then into probably the most photographed berm in all the motocross right there. The sand here just forces you to work the whole moto.
It's a rough track, and Mike LAROCCO says it's one of his favorites.
Actually, the track itself, it's a fun track to ride. It's really rough, and I like the fact that it's demanding. But to actually race on it, it gets really big sand berms on the inside, and it's real difficult to pass. You get dirty. Not real happy about that, but like I said, it's a tough track, and I think that'll make the difference here.
Back to the action here in Moto 1 of the 250s. John Dowd getting all sorts of pressure from Ezra Lusk.
Neither one of these guys looking real smooth at this point. I think they're just trying to go as fast as they can. Look at Lusk just creating a new line, a little gardening with his bike just to try to find somewhere he didn't have to hit some holes.
Dowdy so far has not yielded to the pressure of Ezra Lusk. He's got a good ride going for himself.
It looks like what Lusk is planning to do is keep the pressure on Dowd, and as soon as he finds him starting to get a little bit tired or any flaw, he'll get by and go on for the win. If he passes him early, Dowd could retaliate, but I think Dowd's gone fast enough this entire moto that he really hasn't allowed Lusk to have that opportunity or even see that it's there.
Lusk has one moto win on the season. That was the first moto at Hangtown. Looking for number 2 right now as he chases down John Dowd. Before we take a break, let's take a look at the Suzuki trivia question for this week. Which Suzuki rider won a 125 championship by only 1 point? The answer when we get back. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, get in, be moved. Welcome back to Southwick, Massachusetts. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Dave Burns with you, bringing you the action of 250s in Moto number 1. Let's get back to that Suzuki trivia question. Which Suzuki rider won a 125 championship by just 1 point? The answer is Guy Cooper. Back in 1990, edged out Mike Kudrowski by a single point. The battle goes on for the lead here in the 250 Moto number 1. John Dowd, Ezra Lusk. It's been bang, bang all the way. Ezra really hasn't taken the opportunity, though, to make a move.
It looks to me like he's just been staying close and studying it. The longer he stays close.
John Dowd fishtailing, and that gave the break to Ezra Lusk. He just took it. It was given to him.
I was about to say, the longer you stay close like that, the more pressure you put on the guy, and as he gets down to the end, you can look for a mistake.
We'll see if Dowdy can come right back and make an assault on Ezra Lusk, or if Ezra decides to check out as we take another look.
Well, watch Dowd. He's trying to aim to the inside. Lucky to save that. He had to throw his leg out there and use a little bit of body English to try to keep that bike straight, and he recovered pretty nice, but it had to take a little bit out of him. Plus, he knows that Lusk was there the whole time. Now he's going to go hard. It's going to be hard for Dowd to retaliate.
Dowdy coming back sooner than the doctors really wanted him to with that injury from the Supercross season. There's Lusk, our new leader, John Dowd, and maybe a reason that Lusk decided to make a move was that guy right there, Mike LAROCCO.
LAROCCO is closing fast. He's the kind of guy that's dangerous in that final couple of laps. So Lusk may have felt the need to really apply the pressure to Dowd and get LAROCCO off his back, and it turned into a faster lead for him.
Ezra Lusk in the lead. Portelli is not even in the top 10. That'll help him points-wise. Here's a big battle going on. Albertine and Kevin Windham. Albertine to the inside. Albertine, after crashing or at least going down, has got back up and moved into 5th place.
He just fought through that section a lot more than Kevin did. Doesn't look like Kevin's ready to give up, but he definitely handed that inside line to Albertine, knowing there wasn't much he could do there. He'd have to take some big chances to try to go around the outside and hold on to the spot.
Albertine is looking like he's back to form, the form that won him 3 GP World Motocross titles. We asked him about his win in the last round.
Yeah, I was really excited. You know, this is the first time I've gone 1-1 since '94, so it was really just a good race for me. I felt extremely good, and I didn't just win, I dominated, so that made me feel even better, and I'm hoping to repeat that here.
Currently in 5th spot, Greg Albertine, and he's really done a nice job getting back to 5th after going down.
It's frustrating when you win a race. You know, after he dominated that, then they had a week off, so he didn't really get to continue that momentum. He just shifted into everybody else's corner.
Here's our leader. Ezra Lusk going through the picture, and turning it on is Mike LAROCCO.
Whoa.
John Dowd tries to protect that inside. Look at the rain. It's starting to rain.
Coming down hard right now. That affects your concentration, especially your vision. Right now, if Dowd can hold off LAROCCO, he'll ruin his vision. Look how clean Dowd is. Probably like to keep it that way, but LAROCCO is a fight. Both these guys are tough. When it's muddy or sandy or rough, they're always the ones fighting it, making up time at the last part of the moto.
The battle is on for 2nd place. John Dowd trying to hold on to his best moto finish of the season. Mike LAROCCO trying to gain his best finish. That would be a 2nd place if he can pass John Dowd.
Well, they can just see Lusk right down at the bottom of the hill, too.
LAROCCO with his sights on John Dowd. Let's see what happens. They've got a rider in between, and Mike LAROCCO to the inside. He took the right line. And now Dowdy having problems getting by the lapper.
That was just a little bit of bad luck, possibly a bad decision on Dowd's part. He'd been better off just following that lapper through the best line and not giving it to LAROCCO. Watch right here. He's trying to figure out what to do. He goes, well, I'll take it. I'll gamble, go to the outside berm. But look at LAROCCO can just go right around that inside berm.
And then LAROCCO just powering out in front to take 2nd place away from Dowd. Mike LAROCCO, number 3. Out in front is Ezra Lusk. Look at the rain.
Pouring now. It's probably the best place for something like that to happen here at Southwick. It's not going to get muddy. It'll just actually get better.
It drains pretty good, the sand, actually.
Soaks it all up as well.
Our Dave Burns is down to the mechanics area with Ezra Lusk's mechanic, Mike Gosler.
Mike, did you tell Ezra to pick it up when you knew that Mike had gotten around John?
Yeah, Mike's serious threat back there. He rode here last week, and I'm pretty sure he knows where the track goes. And he's making up a little time here and there, but Yogi looks like he might be able to hold his own.
Okay, what about Ezra? Is he running a good line as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I think so. We kind of counted on it raining, so we guessed, and looks like we picked right.
And guys, it's pouring down here now. I guess they guessed on rain.
Well, that's an important decision before the race starts. Is it going to rain? Is it not going to rain? It's maybe not as critical as an IndyCar, though, but still, it's an important decision.
Well, now is when the bikes can suffer problems. I don't think they're going to have any standing water on the track. That's where they run into more problems, sucking water and ruining the motor. Look at Albertine, just charging.
Goes after Damon Huffman and succeeds. Huffman tries that inside turn, but Albie pours it on to the outside.
Albie just unaffected by the rain. Seems to be inspired by it, if anything.
Albie's only had one difficult moto this year. That was a 12th place in the second moto at Hangtown near Sacramento. Otherwise, he's been hanging right in there, trying to make a move on the 2 points leaders. LUSK, LAROCCO, Dowd, our top three, and we'll be back with more 250 action after these words. With the rain coming down here in our first moto at 250 action, welcome back Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Dave Burns. Our leader, Ezra LUSK, as we go back to look for the battles. Number 31 is Damon Huffman. He's in 5th spot. Right behind him, Team Honda's Kevin Windham.
Windham's starting to pick it up, put a little pressure on Damon, but the hard part here is vision. You know, we're able to see fine, but these guys soaking up all that roost. Well, that's not going to be a problem now. Just pass the guy. Put the roost in his face, but it's very difficult. All that rain coming down. See from our one camera, it was already starting to get messed up on the lens. These guys are riding practically blind.
So Kevin Windham now moves into the top 5. A little slush down there at the bottom, as Kevin taking it kind of careful around that turn.
Got to be a little bit more careful to line choice right now. Get on the throttle hard coming out of the corner while you're in the deep sand. But as soon as you get out onto the flat into some of the harder pack stuff, back off just a little bit, use a little bit better throttle control. That's what Kevin's so good at. Already starting to put a little distance on Huffman now.
Kevin's had an interesting season so far. He has 3 hole shots on the year. He got his very first national win at Hangtown without a first place moto, a 3-2. And those mechanics have a lot on their mind right now, David Bailey.
Probably hoping that's it for the rain, for one thing, but knowing that they got a lot of work to do on the bikes now. A little bit of rain and some of the mud out there on the track takes its toll, wears things out. I don't think they're going to really worry too much about tire choice. It's already sandy. If you were going to choose a mud tire, it would be essentially the same thing.
That sand permeate every bit of your engine, does it?
Well, if it gets sucking through the filter, especially in watery conditions, I think they're going to be okay here. Just got to make sure they get everything cleaned up. I think for the riders, really, they're going to have to, the track's going to change considerably in the way that it develops now that it's got this much water put down on it. So line choice, the second moto, would be completely different than this moto.
Ezra LUSK, our leader, looking for his very first win at Southwick. There's been a lot of individual winners here over a tremendous 20-year history at this track. We've only had 3 riders that have multiple wins.
Wow,
Tortelli, he has really put the throttle down.
I didn't even see him a moment ago. I was just looking at Windham and Huffman. All of a sudden, Tortelli just catching these guys from 4 seconds back.
Tortelli knocking on the door of Damon Huffman right now. Boy, has he come back after that little mix-up with Jimmy Button early in the race.
He has come on strong. That's been his trademark in this outdoor series. He knows he's got to pick off every rider he can. Valuable points. The bad news is, even if he works up past Windham and Huffman, he's still going to come in and realize that LUSK got the win and possibly took over the points.
A difference of 3 points between first and second, and a 2-point difference between second and third as far as the point structure is concerned. Weeding through the lappers right now and trying to get by Damon Huffman as number 44, Sebastian Tortelli. Boy, did he start the season with a dominating performance. Sweeping motos at Glen Helen. Tortelli to the inside on Huffman, and he's got Windham right in front of him.
And it doesn't look like Windham's going to be able to be much of a match for Tortelli with the pace he's got. He made a one-handed pass on Huffman over a jump. That's a symbol of some confidence anyway. I think one of Sebastian's most powerful tools is that he can go pretty much anywhere he wants to go on the racetrack at any time. So his ability to pass is probably better than anyone on the racetrack, just simply because he just picks his spot and goes for the move.
Tortelli coming into this race with an 11-point lead on Ezra LUSK, and Tortelli to the inside makes the move on Kevin Windham.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Tortelli able to make a pass through a section that up until now has been pretty much one line.
Tortelli from Marseille, France, in the south of France. Usually stays pretty warm there. but he sure rides well under adverse conditions. Time is running down here at our opening 250 moto from Southwick, Massachusetts. Our leader continues to be Team Honda's Ezra Lusk. Mike LAROCCO, though, picking up. John Dowd still in third. Not too far away from the checkers flying here in our first moto at Southwick, Massachusetts for the 250s. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Dave Burns.
LAROCCO going by. Here comes Dowd. Neither one of those guys have goggles. And it looked like Lusk still had his, so that could be the main. It looks like he's opened up a little gap over these guys as well, so that could be the main reason.
Jean-Sebastian Waugh right in front of Mike LAROCCO there. LAROCCO trying to lap him, and our leader, number 4, Ezra Lusk, who's had pretty much of an open field, and here he is. Ezra Lusk heads toward the checkered flag at Southwick, Massachusetts. He will pick up some valuable points on Sebastian Tortelli as he takes the checkered flag. A tremendous ride for Ezra Lusk. There you see Mike LAROCCO just coming across the finish line in second place. A drenched Jeff Stanton goes over to congratulate Ezra Lusk. So it'll be Lusk, LAROCCO, and Dowd out of this first moto, with Greg Albertine and Kevin Windham rounding out the top 5, and Tortelli, our points leader, all the way back in 6th position. For probably the most popular rider at this track, John Dowd, it's his best finish this season. Let's go down to Dave Burns now, who's with Dowdy.
John, great moto for you there. Came on strong there at the end. What happened that you couldn't get by Mike again?
I was just a little pumped up, you know, my arms. I guess with the rain, it was started getting a little slick, and I don't know, just a little nervous maybe. I haven't been running up front yet this year, so far in the outdoor series, so it's still a little nerve-wracking to me out here, but I was hoping to do good here today and kind of get back in the groove. So.
Let me ask you this, when the rain started coming down, did you say, oh yeah, or oh no?
Actually, it kind of screwed me up in a few places because they put some clay down here and there, and I was kind of running some insides, and with the rain, the clay got real slippery, so I had to kind of change my lines up a little bit. But normally I don't mind the rain though. I don't mind getting dirty.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Mike LAROCCO coming off that miserable 14-13 finish at Mount Morris with equaling his best moto of the season. Let's go back to Dave now, who's with the Rocket.
All right, Mike, thunderclaps out here, but that wasn't the most excitement for you there today. Got a little pressure from the end there from John Dowd. How was that?
Well, I mean, that happened. It started raining, and probably just over halfway in, and I fogged up, so I ended up taking my goggles off. So every time I come up to the lappers, I had a big problem getting around and had a real hard time seeing. So I don't look at that as anything. I felt good at the beginning. I thought, maybe I could catch Ezra once I got around Huffman. So I felt good out there. I was glad I could have maintained second, so I could give it a shot in the next moto.
For a while, Ezra Lusk's lust for winning was overpowering his sensibility. He was crashing a lot along with wins, but he's reached a fine consistency so far this year. Let's go back to Dave.
All right, Ezra, then the rains came and you seemed to get faster. Do you like the mud?
I don't really care. It's I was just out there racing, having fun. My gloves got a little slick, so that caused me to pump up a little bit, but I knew when I came here I really wanted to win and get a little bit of revenge after Mount Morris when I wasn't really feeling that great.
Did you think it was going to be tough to get around John? I mean, he knows this place so well.
I'll tell you what, that was as hard as I could go earlier. He was just riding really, really good. Luckily, for me, he made a little mistake up there, and that was it.
The 250 riders are at the gate getting ready for their final moto here at Southwick, Massachusetts. Mike LAROCCO hoping to improve on his second place standing at the first moto. Doug Henry, this is his home track. We will return with the 250. The moment that many fans have been waiting for now, the final 250 moto of the afternoon. Another shot of Mike LAROCCO getting set, and they're burning those tires.
I haven't been in a more exciting starting line in just about all of racing. All the fans are packed right there at the starting line. That's the chance they get to get the closest to the riders. There have been times when the people were louder than the bikes.
Did you like the cement starting block?
Hey, I could get a good start anywhere but here. I never got a start inside the top 20 at Southwick.
Ezra Lusk, number 4. He won the first moto, looking for the sweep. John Dowd looking for an overall victory, as Dowdy took a third in that first one. 44, Sebastian Tortelli. He's endangered now of losing his points lead to Ezra Lusk without a decent performance here in the second moto.
30-second board is up. It'll go sideways, and we'll get this second moto underway from Southwick, Massachusetts. They're starting to rev up. The gate will drop any second now. The fans going crazy in the background, and they're off. And look at that, John Dowd. He gets another great start. Team Yamaha's John Dowd is out in front. Ezra Lusk once again as they get tied up in that first turn.
Tortelli getting a terrible start going around the outside. He avoided those riders going down, but still was at the back of the pack.
Weeding it out. Henry gets by that dangerous area where he went down in the first moto. Dowd really putting it on the berm. There's Lamson in third. Koikita in fourth.
Yeah, good start for the Japanese rider, Koikita.
John Dowd, Ezra Lusk. Deja vu of the first moto as far as the first two are concerned. We'll see how long Ezra waits this time. He waited quite a while in the first moto.
I think it'll really depend on what's happening behind him. If they start to pull away like they did in the first moto, he'll be patient because he knows that physically he may be a little bit closer to 100%, if not at 100%, where Dowd's still struggling to come back from that injury.
Henry, Albertine in good position there. You hear the four-stroke of Jimmy Button going by.
Bad start for Emig. He was even behind Tortelli. Made up a lot of ground that first lap so far.
Emig with a 9th in the first moto. Checking out the leaderboard. Doug Henry moving up to 5th. There's Albertine. Austin Squires, number 120, in good position.
Lusk running that outside line on the 250 doesn't seem too bad. It's a much longer distance to go all the way out there, but it was smooth.
Larry Ward in 20th.
He's had a tough time with starts. So is Emig. I really believe that if Emig was getting the hole shots he got last year, he'd be up in there figuring out the pace. But when you come in from a moto and you're going, who won? You know, how are you going to figure out what everyone's doing out there? The pace, the lines, completely out of touch.
We talk a lot about Dowd and Henry. Very familiar with this part of the country. Whoa! Albertine is involved in a crash. That was Austin Squires, number 120, just getting up first. But what a traffic jam, causing a detour right here. Number 28, Heath Voss. He's the privateer on a Honda, but Albertine losing some valuable time, which will translate into points later on.
A rider just coming by, hitting the bike. He was stuck there, getting roosted the whole time. That was right before the mechanics area, and they can't really do anything about it. That's a frustrating situation for Albert.
Earlier, I was getting into the fact that Henry and Dowd are certainly good here on their home track. Excellent, in fact. But it's Jeff Stanton who's the king of Southwick. 4 straight national victories at this track. Let's go to Dave.
Hey, Brian, I heard you say you wish Southwick was a couple weeks later. And given John's condition physically right now, how long do you think he can hold him off?
Well, that's the problem right now. There's no telling. He's been working real hard. You know, each week he's been getting stronger and stronger. So could be 20 minutes, could be 30. You know, he could be right there to the 30 plus 2. But, you know, if it was a couple weeks later, I'd know where he was at. So.
Dowd has done a tremendous job at accelerating his rehabilitation as he tries to hold off Ezra Lusk for the 2nd straight moto. Ezra looking more serious right now as far as a passing possibility.
You know, he's definitely made his commitment to stay right on his rear tire and soak up all that roost because he believes now's the time to make his move.
Last year, we saw the toughness of Ezra Lusk, riding through some painful injuries. We've always known he's fast, but he entered into this motocross season with a different glaze in his eye. It was a glaze of almost holding back the reins, looking for consistency this season and a possible points championship. Join us next on ESPN2 as we'll bring you the action from Budds Creek in that 5th round. Moto number 2, the 250s. This is the battle for the lead. John Dowd, number 6, Team Yamaha. Ezra Lusk, Team Honda. Ezra's been putting the pressure on the last couple of laps, looking for a move, it looks like.
He's been taking different lines everywhere as well. Dowd has got to be a little bit more protective of his line, ride a little bit more defensive. Where look at the drive Lusk has.
Whoa! Lusk with a late braking move, and the jump gets by John Dowd.
That was just all-out speed, full commitment. You get a little squirrely at that speed, you're going to go down hard. You know, it looked like Lusk does as well, as soon as he makes his pass, he puts in a couple of really hard laps just to try to discourage the guy. Make him think, well, heck, I can't keep up with that, and then just settle for second.
Ezra Lusk with his first moto win of the year in the second event. That was at Hangtown near Sacramento. He's looking for his first overall victory of the season. It would be his third national victory in his career.
You can see the pace by Lusk right now has just been picked up. Now it's pretty intense. It takes a lot of extra energy and confidence to go this pace. He's trying to discourage Dowd right now and put this away.
If Ezra should take the checkered flag here today, that would be another 1-1 sweep for victory.
Old Big Brian Barry's not looking too happy about this. I think you can see the same thing it looks like we're seeing from here is Lusk has decided he's going to win this moto, and that's that.
There's the battle for third place. Steve Lapson, Doug Henry, Mike LAROCCO.
This ought to be good. Lamson does not want to give this up. He's had some opportunities up there. The first moto, he just got robbed with a goofy kind of a crash. Stuck under the bike. Henry had the same kind of thing happen as well. The first lap, had to start from last. And LAROCCO, he's just going to charge all the way past that checkered flag no matter what.
Steve Lapson. Number 24, Doug Henry. And Henry makes the pass on Lammy. We mentioned Carmichael winning his fourth consecutive national. He won 6 in a row last year. The record holder is Steve Lapson in the 125 ranks. 7 nationals in a row. Doug Henry, though, doing a nice job moving into third place. Lammy now in fourth with LAROCCO right at his tail.
In order to go fast on this racetrack, you've got to have the confidence in your strength, your stamina. You've got to be so on your toes. You've got so many different lines to choose from. Holes you got to make sure you miss. And you got to be brave. Look at LAROCCO, makes the pass. In order to do that, you've just got to hold it wide open and go through bumps that you know you're going to have to absorb. If you don't, you could go down.
Henry in third, LAROCCO in fourth, and now Lamson in fifth. While Ezra Lusk leads with John Dowd in second place, let's have a Honda riding tip.
And since we're here in Southwick at the sandiest racetrack on the circuit, it's a good time to talk about how to ride in the sand. And first of all, you want to set up the bike a little bit stiffer, maybe a little stiffer in the front so that front end doesn't dive into all the corners and plow. A little bit slower on the rebound. You'll notice the riders stand up quite a bit more. You got to be comfortable with standing up, let the bike work underneath you. The track is so much rougher. And as always, the use of the clutch. Get that perfect power band. Watch Ezra right here. He's going to keep a finger on that clutch and just feather, make the perfect power so you can keep the front end light. You want to wheelie over most of the big bumps. And another way to keep the front end light is you see Ezra right here riding a little bit further to the back of the motorcycle. Wheelies through the corner. But here in a berm, Kevin demonstrates the better technique all the way up to the back of the tank, right in the middle of the bike, letting that bike bounce up and down underneath him, and his body stays relatively still. For this week's Honda riding tip, I'm David Bailey.
Back to the action now at Southwick, Massachusetts. Kevin Windham, number 14, trying to hold off Sebastian Tortelli for 6th place. And this is a big inside of that berm. Windham real close to the mechanics area, and Tortelli makes the pass.
Kevin got a little bit too wide in the corner before the mechanics area. He went on the outside of the berm. If you're running by yourself, that line might not be that bad, but Tortelli right there, you can't leave the door open.
Steve Lamson. Tortelli.
Tortelli jumping through that line. That's a little bit new. Faster, too.
So the action continues. As Ezra Lusk and John Dowd are 1 and 2 with Henry in third. We'll be right back.
Back at Southwick, Massachusetts for round 4 of AMA Motocross. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Dave Burns bringing you the action. It's Ezra Lusk in first place, John Dowd in second. This is the battle for third. LAROCCO putting the pressure on Doug Henry. And then it's Lamson and Tortelli behind him.
Tortelli really putting the pressure on Lamson now, too. Look how close Tortelli follows. I mean, if anything goes wrong with Lamson, he's bought. He doesn't have to take advantage. It's already done. That's the advantage of following somebody that close. That's what Johnson used to do to me. That's what Hannah always did to people.
And to the inside, Tortelli takes him.
That's what I'm talking about. Just the slightest mistake by Lamson, and it's a pass for Tortelli.
And here's a pass for Mike LAROCCO, getting in front of Doug Henry. Lots of action here at Southwick in this second moto.
I like the way Tortelli goes around that corner. He just jumps through there a little bit faster. All the little places on the racetrack, Tortelli has managed to find a little something extra. That's why he's always coming through the pack. This guy ever got hole shots? I don't know. It might be what Carmichael does at the 125 class in the 250s, and that's hard to imagine with all the talent.
Ezra Lusk, John Dowd, Mike LAROCCO, Doug Henry, Sebastian Tortelli, our new lineup. Ezra Lusk, though, still picking up valuable points. He would take over the points lead if it ends like this. And here's a good shot of Ezra from Bainbridge, Georgia. Looking for his first win on the season. He would become the third Honda team rider to win on the season. Tortelli winning the opener. Kevin Windham already winning a national this season. And that would be the only time that we can figure in the history of the Nationals 250s that Team Honda has had 3 of their team members win a national in the same season.
Well, I'm thinking that's pretty successful. Good pick for this team, and even without Pichon now, they're still able to put together a pretty strong team. They got great Supercross riders, guys that are young. Interesting Tortelli coming over here. So the contrast of styles and personalities at Honda, they're complementing each other well now.
Interesting situation for the team manager, Cliff White, to handle. Tortelli going back and forth now with Doug Henry. And Tortelli moves up another notch.
So second lap in a row, he finds his way by through the mechanics area. So his mechanics stoked. He's making the pass right in front of him.
News was confirmed today that Ezra Lusk is re-upped for 2 more years for the Red Riders at Honda. And that probably takes a load off his shoulders.
I feel really good. You know, it's been a while. It's been a couple months now, or a few months now that we've been negotiating this deal, and it's really, really good for me to get it off and get it off my chest and be able to move on. And I will be with Honda for 2 more years. It's official, and it's a done deal.
The latest signing means no silly season for the Red Riders, with Lusk, Windham, and Tortelli all coming back. Tranquility, a far cry from a week ago when Honda ended up letting go Mikel Pichon.
I seen him, punch John Ayers in the back of the neck a few times, and so I went over and grabbed Mikel and said, this is wrong.
Unfortunately, resulted in our terminating Mikel's contract.
Water's not passing under his bridge. He's over in Europe racing today, and he's got a contract for the next 2 years. So, I'm happy for him that he's got something else.
The bike will stay in the truck. I doubt if we'll find anybody else to use it. There's no plan to do that at this point.
I think that Mikel would be happier somewhere else doing something else. I don't know. But I know at Honda, we've all been working together, and we have a really great team, and we're just going to keep fighting and try to win this outdoor championship.
Well, they got a good shot at it. Number 1 and 2 in the points. Here's Larry Ward, number 7, after a very difficult first moto, coming in at 8th place. Looks like he's really stepped it up a notch. He's attacking now. Steve Lamson, number 24.
He's got the inside, and that's going to do it.
The block pass just enough for Larry Ward to get by.
And then Steve Lamson looked back as if to see who was next. That's not a good sign. Anytime you look back, you're telling yourself you're getting maybe a little bit weaker. You're starting to expect somebody to catch up to you. It's just, I don't know, it's not a good practice.
Larry Ward trying to certainly improve on a very difficult start. A 12th overall in the first round, 11th in the second, and a 15th in the third. He was 16 and 14 in the 2 motos.
Sometimes it takes a good racetrack or a place where you've done well in the past to get back on track. We heard Dowd say that earlier. Larry Ward has won here on the 125 and had good results here on the 250, so maybe it's just a moto that's going to kind of get things clicking for Larry, and he'll be able to pick it up from here on out. He's definitely better, much better rider than 10th place, 12th place. He doesn't belong back there.
Our rundown of riders: Lusk, Dowd, LAROCCO, Tortelli. Ferry's now in 20th position behind Jimmy Button. Look at all the talent in the bottom side of the top 10.
That's part of Larry's problem as well, not getting the starts you need and not being able to take advantage of when you do get good starts. You get caught back there and you just can't move up. There's too many good riders.
Button's knocking on the door to Wyndham. Cuts to the inside. Number 10 on the four-stroke. Makes the pass on Kevin Wyndham.
That just takes so much strength. It's basically a battle of just who's stronger, who can do one more rep. Who can lift more weight. That's basically what it is. You're carrying this heavy motorcycle around the track, hitting all these holes, and then eventually you're just like, you know what? I just want the white flag to come out.
Tim Ferry making the move on Kevin Wyndham as well. Tim Ferry, number 20. Mazda Chaparral Yamaha. He's the teammate of number 24, Steve Lamson. More bad luck for Robbie Raynard, number 17. There's Tony Berluti of Team Suzuki.
Hard to tell what's wrong there. It looks to me like that's a problem with him, not the motorcycle. That's just a guess.
Tim Ferry's on a mission to move up another notch. Here's a good sortie with Jimmy Button. Ferry looking very aggressive.
That was smart. He just decided, you know what, I don't like where this berm's going. I'm cutting to the inside. He does it again. He was knocking on the door.
Almost touch wheels, and Jimmy Button stalls the machine. Whoa, good break for Tim Ferry. Tim Ferry in only his second ride with Team Chaparral after signing mid-season as a privateer. We'll be right back with more action in a moment. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. What a great day of racing we've seen here at Southwick, Massachusetts. This is the final 250 moto of the day. The final lap is underway. Ezra Lusk is our leader, but this is very important. Mike LAROCCO in third, Tortelli in fourth. Tortelli trying to cut his losses. Ezra Lusk can take over the points lead that Tortelli had coming into this race if Tortelli doesn't move up. Mike LAROCCO is a tough guy to beat in this situation, though, David.
Well, you just rather have to pass anybody but Mike LAROCCO on the last lap. That's where he's strong. I don't think he's going to leave the door open anywhere.
Whoa, Tortelli's trying everything he knows how. Paul Delorier, LAROCCO's mechanic, jumping up and down, waving him on. This is the battle for third, as first and second pretty well defined. There's Paul.
These are two tough riders. Look at the intensity now between these two guys. Everything's just been stepped up. Put the race out of reach for everyone else. He had Dowd out there to trouble him for a little while, but at least he had somebody fast to follow.
This would be his very first 1-1 sweep in national action. He takes the checkers. A little extracurricular move there as he came across the jump.
I didn't think he had enough airtime for that, but he still did it in.
Ezra Lusk, a great day for him. He takes over the points lead. Sebastian Tortelli losing some more points. Tortelli is down. He still has a chance for fourth place if he can get that bike started. He's underway. It looks like he will secure fourth. So Ezra Lusk is our winner with John Dowd in second. Mike LAROCCO in third with Tortelli fourth. Ward, his best finish of the year. Greg Albertine all the way back to sixth. He was last after that crash. Remember everyone detouring around him. Let's go down to the winner's platform now. And Dave Burns.
Mike, that's going to be good for third overall, but you came from a long way back in this moto. How tough was it?
It was tough. Track was tough, you know, as tough as I ever rode it. And, you know, I was beat trying to get around Henry, and It was still a long ways to go. I knew I had speed this weekend, but the track was tough, and I could make up the difference.
All right, good job today.
Thanks.
Lusk becomes the 4th different rider to win an overall in the first 4 races. There's never been 5. Maybe next week. Lusk, Dowd, and LAROCCO on the podium. Tortelli, 4th overall, and Greg Albertine moving up to 5th with a 4 and 6 moto performance. Let's go back to the podium now, and Dave.
All right, John, in front of the hometown crowd, it was a great ride for you, and you knew you had to do well in that second moto in order to get 2nd overall. Good job.
Yeah, these guys are going good today. This is it's a tough track, and just coming back from the shoulder, this is the best I've done so far by far. So I'm pretty happy. I would have liked to win, but I'm pretty happy. I put in a couple strong motos, and looking forward to next week.
Is there no way to hold Ezra off, given the injury and all?
He was riding good today. I was pushing pretty hard, and he was just going faster than me. So I probably could have pushed a little harder, but I might have ended up on the ground. So I was trying to play a little bit safe. He was going fast, though.
All right, 2nd overall for John Dowd, and a great ride in the 2nd moto.
Ezra Lusk now moving into the points lead. He came into this race 11 points down and leaves with a 6-point lead on Sebastian Tortelli, his teammate. Greg Albertine also in the mix. Let's go back to Dave.
All right, a tough ride and a tough place to pull off a 1-1, Ezra, here at Southwick, one of the toughest tracks. How difficult was that?
Well, first, it's been a long dream for me to be able to go 1-1. I feel like if you can go 1-1 at a national, that's dominance, and it's something I've always wanted to do. And I knew coming here it'd be one of the toughest with John and Doug, but man, my Honda, Dunlop, Fox didn't let me down.
All right, Ezra, congratulations. Who else you want to thank today?
Scott Goggles, my mechanic, Mike Gosler, for being one of my best friends. I'm a mechanic. And Honda for giving me 2 more years of a chance. And if you guys don't know, I'm with Honda for 2 more years, and I'm really excited. And I just did that deal this week, and it's a lot of pressure off my shoulders, and I'm glad to represent them for 2 more years.
All right, and you wonder if the contract made any difference? Ezra Lusk, a 1-1 today, the overall winner here at Southwick.
I'm impressed with Ezra's maturity now in this outdoor series. Not only has he worked his way into the points lead, but he's done it with dominance on the roughest track so far this year. And to make it even sweeter, another 2 years at Honda.
Our next run will be at Budds Creek, Maryland. And I suppose the big question is, can anyone stop this guy, Ricky Carmichael, from gaining his 5th consecutive 125 victory? He has now won 7 out of the 8 motos this year in 125 action. Art Ekman along with David Bailey and Dave Burns saying thank you for being with us. This has been a production of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network. Go.com.